ladies, and welcome to Honestly Real Girl Talk. My name is Joy, and this is Kerry. Hi, Kerry.
Hello.
And we are the two co-founding coaches of Honestly Real Girl Talk.
Yes.
What we want to do with you today is give you a little bit of an overview about who we are, why we're doing this, and what you'll get out of it. What makes up Honestly, all the different little courses that we have on offer for all the girls, and hopefully to make the moms feel a little bit more comfortable with sending their girls our way.
Okay, so to kick things off, Joy, I think the ladies would like to know who we are.
Yep.
Because we've been talking a little bit about Honestly on our Facebook pages and on Instagram, so maybe we should do a little bit of an introduction. So why don't you start telling everyone who Joy is?
Joy. My name is Joy Garcia. I have a day job that is the client service director at a network BBDO, an advertising agency in Johannesburg. And then what I do as my passion and as my love is I coach people. So I'm very passionate about developing people's skills in various aspects, and that's why Honestly really excites me, and why when we had this idea, Kerry and I, because we kind of work together now, it just felt right. And Kerry can tell you a little bit about herself and why she does what she does and why it makes sense we do this together.
So that's right. So we do work together. We work at a place called Network BBDO. It is an advertising agency. I'm a strategist. I am not like you, Joy. Joy does client service things. So for all of you wanting to join advertising, if you're good with people and making people happy, then do what Joy does, which is client service. That is not what I am good at. I do strategy, so that's what my day job is. I really do things with trends and people and how people think and what makes people tick.
And she's brilliant.
Thank you. I didn't pay her to say that. And yes, I'm a life coach as well in my day job, so in my weekend job really. So on the weekends, I've been coaching women and couples and teenagers actually for quite a long time now. And we started talking about this at the beginning of this year, which is 2017.
Yeah.
You know how it is when, I think it was January, you get back from holiday and you're thinking, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? I need to do
I need a side hustle.
I need a side hustle now. And we started chatting about sort of things that we do on the side, and it came to light that we both actually do coaching. So that's really, I think, how we came to start chatting about doing a girl empowerment series.
And I think one thing that we both are good at is that once we want to do something, we get on with it.
Just like that.
And pretty much within a month and a half, we had a logo and a name, and we were going for it.
Yes.
And we're now at a stage where we really are ready to talk to girls and get on with our workshops and online courses, and that's why we're here talking to you.
Yeah.
So you're probably wondering, what is Honestly? And even though we keep saying Honestly Real Girl Talk, what does that mean? And Kerry and I are very honest people to start with, but that's not why we called it that. But we were very passionate about young girls having an opportunity to be honest and to talk about real things. And this is very close to Kerry's heart because she does it far more than I've ever done. I do more adult coaching. But it was something we started discussing the one day, and we were suddenly like, oh my God, we have to do this.
Yeah, exactly. So really the workshops that we have started designing are about creating a safe space for girls between the ages of 50 and 18 at the moment. That's the really the first part. To come together in groups of between 20 and 30 girls, for us to start creating a safe space for us to talk about really awkward, hectic stuff.
And the stuff you don't want to talk to your moms about, girls.
You know the stuff we're talking about.
And moms, that's not to say that you're bad moms at all. It's to say there is stuff girls just don't want to talk to their moms about.
Precisely.
And it's because you're not cool in their eyes.
So a lot of the things that I talked about with the teens who have come through my coaching practice are things like, how do I talk to boys? How do I deal with peer pressure? How do I deal with my sexuality? I'm really struggling at school.
Yeah, why can't I look like her?
Yeah.
Why am I fat and you're thin? And
Yes.
what do I do with that? And why are people judging me because of that? And how do I impact first impressions, especially with all the social media happening at the moment. Like what I put out there is very important and stays with you.
Yeah.
So how can we teach them to consider that when they're posting pictures?
Yeah, and a lot of stuff around anxiety. So I think we often forget how nerve-wracking it is to be a teenager. I mean, I was really shocked. I started doing this in 2013. I mean, I know I'm an anxious person myself, I totally understand, but at school, I totally get it. Like, you girls are in really high-pressure environments, and you're dealing with things that are making you feel anxious, frantic, depressed, sad, you're tired all the time. And I think that moms often, you say to your girls, can you just maybe put your big girl panties on and get on with it? And that's entirely the wrong thing to say. And it's causing a lot of anxiety inside the households, a lot of fighting, a lot of swearing and slammed doors and all that kind of tension. And that's really what we're trying to alleviate through our workshops.
Yeah, and if we can create a space that everyone can come to, we will talk about these topics in ways that hopefully the girls feel very comfortable talking to us about and talking to each other. And the purpose as well is to make sure that they understand that they're not alone and that everybody is feeling the same thing. So even the skinny girls think that they're not good enough, just as much as the girls that feel like they don't have the weight that they want don't feel good enough. It's the same for the skinny ones. And if we can create a space to help you and upskill you with just certain aspects about trusting your gut or understanding how to have an opinion on something that you need to have an opinion on, that's what we passionate about and what we want to make sure we impart on these girls.
Yeah, and that's, I suppose, also why the name. So honestly, Real Girl Talk. It is about talking, and it is about imparting those skills, because it is a skills thing. I mean, you've got LO in school, and that's amazing. And I think a lot of LO teachers are doing an amazing, incredible job in school. And we'd like to build on that, really. So just creating more conversation, deeper conversation, using coaching skills, drawing on different philosophies, different kinds of theories, and creating just a little bit more conversation to upskill the teenagers in our communities.
And another part of our course that we've been very passionate about, and we've actually got a doctor on board to help us, is hormones. So
such a biggie.
We know that hormones begin affecting young girls at a very early age, probably even earlier nowadays than when we went through it.
Yeah.
And it's a big thing, and they don't go anywhere. They stay with you, and they get more complicated as we get older.
I don't know it.
And so we have asked on a friend of ours who is a doctor. She's the same age as us, and she's actually worked around the world, and she's someone who will come and talk to the girls about hormones and how to understand that, how to know what's happening to you, how to understand that it's actually happening to everybody. And it's not abnormal to you, and to make sense of when you just feel like crying 1 second and the next thing you're as happy as hell. Well, can you be happy as hell? Probably not.
Okay, so should we maybe tell the ladies about the different segments that we have in our workshop?
Yeah.
So just so you guys know, how we've designed the workshop is actually in segments, talking about various different elements of your life that you really struggle with or maybe have some questions around. So let's take it away.
So the first section that we've done is called Insta Impressions, and that's all about the first impressions that you put out there. So whether that's when you walk in a door, what you look like, versus what you put onto Facebook or Instagram of yourself, which is really important. I mean, I remember the first day that I started working here, well, not the first day, maybe like the third or fourth day. Kerry had been here for 2 weeks, I think, at the time, because we started here together. And I walked in really early one morning to do some work, and there was this redhead sitting in her office. I was in open plan at the time. I looked over into this office, and she was GHDing her hair at her desk.
It was important.
I was like, what are you doing? That's how we met each other. But that was my first impression of her, was her hair.
I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad impression. We still haven't figured that one out.
No, it was a good one, because it's important to me to look good as well. So I found a commonality, which is what it's about, right? So first impressions give people they say a lot about you, and that gives people the first impression of you. Sometimes people are putting pictures up of themselves on Facebook that you can't go anywhere. They are always there. People have seen them, even if you delete them. So what the purpose of this part of the course is to really help you define what you think is the first impression you want to put across as yourself, and then how to build that. And also to consider what you don't want to be a first impression of yourself, and how easy that is how easy that happens without you knowing. And we try and help you build your first impression.
Cool. The next segment that we talk about is body love, and it's something really important to us. I'm sure a lot of you, if you're following us already on Instagram, have seen us talk a lot about body positivity, and it's something super important to women and something that we really want teen girls to start getting on board. And it's this radical self-love movement that is just so inspiring. So body positivity is something that we talk about, and essentially it's understanding that every shape and every size is perfect. That's what we want to talk about.
And lovable.
And lovable, exactly. And too often women just have this notion that we are not worth it, and that we are not good enough, and that if we change the way we look and change our size and change our hair color and change the way that we sort of appear, that we're going to fall in love, that people are going to love us more, that we're going to be somehow more worthy, and it's just not true. And so what we want to talk about then is, what kind of belief do we have about our bodies? What kind of perceptions are we taking in as truth? What kind of reality are we believing? And what is society telling us about ourselves that we really should be questioning? And so we really delve into that in this section of body love, and talk about how we can start deciding for ourselves what bodies we want to have, and what we think is worth it, and what we think is worthy. And hopefully you'll come out of it knowing that actually however you're made and however you look right now is absolutely perfect. So it's one of my favorite segments, and hell yeah, hopefully it'll be one of your favorite segments as well. So body love is the next segment to talk about.
Then the third one is all around hormones. Now, I have mentioned previously, we have a doctor on board who will do this, because obviously hormones are quite technical and medical, and we are in no way doctors. But
we just experienced
we've just felt it, yeah. And it's important for girls to understand that it's normal, as abnormal as it feels, and it will be abnormal for the rest of your life, but that is normal. And it's very important to understand what is happening to you is happening to everybody. And it's also to try and help you understand why it's happening to you, and what it does and what it means. Because by doing that, hopefully you're a little bit more accepting of the havoc and can get on with all the other stuff that matters.
And what's great, the doc that we have on board, she is so lovely and so much fun.
Very cool.
And so she's actually quite happy to sort of give you the facts and the theory, and then just chat. So if you have any questions about your body, you don't really understand what's going on, this isn't a dry sort of talk about like facts only.
It's not like a science lesson.
Not a
or
science
biology
lesson. So she's really happy to chat and answer any questions you may have, which is really cool, because sometimes it's not so easy to put your hand up in LO or bio or whatever and ask the question that you're too afraid to ask. So we really think that's quite a nice service to also have as part of our day.
So come with questions, because she'll be ready for them.
Yeah.
And then the next section?
I think the next section is called the intimates.
Correct.
So the intimates is, it's what you're expecting. So the intimates is talking about, sex, love and rock and roll without the rock and roll. So we talk about caring for your vagina. So I said the word, I said vagina. And don't worry, it's very safe. Moms, don't be nervous. We talk about caring for your body. Too often we are very afraid to talk about caring for ourselves, periods, and sort of healthcare when it comes to, or womanly healthcare really. So we have worked actually in our other careers in advertising on a great campaign called Vagina Varsity. So we introduce you girls to this amazing campaign. It's actually an online campaign where Lebrace, the sanitary pad company, have made a series of videos that are amazing and hilarious.
Yeah.
And they take you through vaginal health care. It's a 16 episodes I think they've made. We won't go through all of them, we'll just introduce you to it. But they talk you through being a basic vagina haver to an expert vagina haver, which is really, really cool. So we talk about vaginal health care, we talk about sex as well, and not about the ins and outs.
And not whether to or not to.
It's just about boundaries, actually. So essentially this whole section is about boundaries and how important they are. We are not going to be discussing if it's good or if it's bad, but we are going to be discussing where your boundaries lie, because I think too often...
how to create them.
And
how to decide what your boundaries are.
Yeah.
Which will come a lot from the upbringing that you, the moms, have instilled. So you mustn't worry, moms, that we're going to tell your girls what to do or what not to do.
Yeah.
That's not what it's about.
Yeah. So I think too often there's a lot of pressure put on girls. There's a big blesser culture. There's a lot of pressure from guys to do things that maybe you feel like you have to do in return for dates, or in return for love, or in return for status. And so the conversation here is, it's your body.
Yeah. It's
your rights. It's to say no or to say yes, but essentially you have a voice and we teach you how to use it. So essentially that's what the Intimates is all about.
Absolutely. And the next one, which is very key to that, is about trusting your gut. And we try and give the girls skills on how to know when your gut is talking and what to do with that. So if you are posed with a situation that you feel uncomfortable in and it feels wrong, what do you do? And it's about trusting it. And then how can you express that? Whether it's running away from it, which is totally fine if that's how you want to deal with it, but also hopefully we will give girls enough confidence to know that they can express an opinion on it, and it doesn't matter what the consequences of that opinion is. So yeah, it's not all la meditation stuff, so don't stress about that, moms. It's just about really understanding that gut feeling. And we all have it. We all feel sometimes, I knew that was going to happen. And that's the thing that we want to teach them. Because you need that throughout life, especially as women.
Yeah. And then the last one is called pressure cooker. So I spoke about this a little bit in the beginning. Life is so hard for teenage girls.
Yeah, there's so much pressure on them.
There's so much pressure. It is insane. I mean, I think we feel stressed most days. That's why my hair is not GHD'd right now. But life is really, really tough, and we get it.
There's so much going on at school and home and personal goals and stuff.
So we've done a bunch of research with moms and with teens, actually, and it's been very eye-opening. Also, just seeing the, obviously coaching in your practice and in mine, we know how hectic it is. And so this segment is about how to deal, because you can't run away. You have to go to school, you have to do the extracurriculars, you have to pass, you have to somehow get out of school and do something after school, whether that's going to college or varsity or finding a job. You have to somehow deal with your friends falling out of love, dating your boyfriend, doing something whack on social
media. Wanting you to do something that you don't have time for.
Precisely.
Whatever.
Maybe there's a new drug culture. Maybe, somebody has died at school. It's absolutely insane. So what we deal with is in this segment is really hard to deal. Coping mechanisms, organization tips, relaxation tips, stress sort of relief techniques. Really, it's quite practical in this section.
And how to prioritize. So if you have a boyfriend and a friend and a party and a project and some form of sport all happening on one Saturday, how do you prioritize and decide what's right for you?
Exactly. And you'll be happy to know that we have the most organized person ever. She has her own YouTube channel called Organized Joy with us to help us with that. So we're in really, really good hands. So essentially, we really think that given all of the topics that we cover, you are going to have, as a teenage girl, I think, an amazingly inspiring and practical day just to help you get through life. We'll have some real girl talk. A lot of it will be serious, a lot of it will be practical. And as a mom, I think you can be quite confident that your girl is in
Safe hands.
safe hands.
And that they will come out being really empowered young women. And that's what we really want, and what excites us as well, is empowering girls to be the best that they can be. And by girls, I mean any age, from 15, where we want to start, up until our friends.
Yeah.
And we try really hard to do that in our day jobs as well, and help girls to be even better at their jobs. And we can't wait to do this for girls. And that's why Kerry was mentioning that it's a full day. We want to do a day workshop. We can cut that up and make it, we take certain segments and only do that in a half day, for example. We want to run workshops on our own in a neutral venue, but we're also very keen to get involved with schools, where we could do a Friday afternoon and do certain sections with a certain class or a grade, standards, which shows my age. But then we're also doing an online version of this, hopefully, but that's coming.
Very
Right?
cool. Yeah.
And you'll be able to do a certain segment and buy into only certain segments. So whether the girls want to do one on the peer pressure, or if moms really want to do one on hormones, then you can take one or all.
So hopefully you've liked what we've said,
Yes.
and now you should follow us.
So we're on Facebook, obviously. That's pretty much for moms though, because we
Yeah.
know you young girls are not into Facebook where your moms are.
So if you are a teenager, do follow us on Instagram. I think, what are we on Instagram? Let me just
Right.
double check.
Honestly, Real Girl Talk.
I think so. At honestly, Real Girl Talk. Let me just double check.
Both handles are that.
Hmm.
As far as we should really know this.
No, I should, hey?
We obviously also have a website which tells you all of what we've just spoken about.
Yes.
And that is honestly but spelt a little bit differently, so take the vowels out.
Yes.
So hnstly.co.za. And you can book courses there, or talk to us, send us direct messages on Instagram. Moms, you can talk to us on Facebook or email us. Our email addresses are there. You can find us as individuals on all those platforms as well,
Yeah.
if you want to understand a little bit more about us. And yeah, we can't wait to meet someone,
Yeah, start having some real girl
girls,
talk.
and doing some workshops.
Thanks for watching.